the enthusiastic tutor, and in today's tutorial, it happens to be the continuation on the course ACC, all right, ACC411, and based on this, we'll be taking a continuation of what we refer to as ethics. Okay, like I said earlier, when we started this course, I said understand the concept behind the course, and so far it has been a thing or two about the profession, all right, auditing and financial assurance services, all right. So it's going to be a continuation on that. So we want to see the ethics. What are the guiding ethics to the performance of this responsibility by the auditors and by the accountants? So that's what I'm going to be considering in tonight's class. Without further ado, let's go straight into the other things. Now, for those of us who are new to the stream, okay, let's ensure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, all right, and as well, I encourage you to join the private class, all right, where we'll walk you through everything you need to know about your courses. So now, let's go straight into the ethics. Okay, which we will be tagging fundamental ethical principles. We have ethical principles guiding auditor or the accountant. So now, both IFAC and ICANN, all right, there are codes given by both of these bodies. Codes given by this body following the fundamental ethical principles guiding the auditor's performance. All right. So some of these codes are, we have a handful of them, but we're just going to be listing very few. All right. So we have integrity. Like I said earlier, what we do here on YouTube is basically 30%. 70% remaining is left to, all right, is restricted to members of our private class only, where we have Telegram discussion and we do give the materials called the keynotes and the exam practice questions to students just to set them all on for the exam. So we talk about integrity. Integrity is a very important ethical principle for anyone offering assurance services or auditing. Okay, it is a principle. Now, this principle of integrity imposes an obligation on all professional accountants to be what? Straightforward and honest. Imposes an obligation on all, okay, on all professional accountants to be what? Straightforward and honest. Straightforward and honest in all professional and business relationships. So we have that as well. Very important. Integrity, like my boss would say, integrity is one good that is very, very scarce. It's a commodity that it is not All right, it's a commodity that is not being displayed on shelves because a lot of employees, all right, a lot of personnel lacks integrity. It's a very scarce commodity that the very few that sells this commodity are very, all right, they are highly important, they are highly cherished and valued. All right, so we have that as that. We also have objectivity. Objectivity basically is calling white white, black black. All right, doing your job without bias, providing your services without emotions. You work according to the ethics and standard of your job. A professional accountant should not allow bias, conflict, or conflict of interest or undue influence of others to override, all right, his professional or business judgment. All right, undue influence that should not have gotten to the accountant, all right, or to the auditor. Do your job, get on with things. So under entire objectivity says should, as a professional, accountant or auditor, you should not allow bias, no bias, undue influence, all right, to affect your sense, your profession, all right, your professional or business relationship. I beg your pardon, your professional or business judgment. Professional, okay, all right, your professional or business judgment. Nothing like that should affect it. Okay, so we have that as that. Now, it also says professional, okay, professional competence. So let's just do it as professional competence. Very important. You call yourself an accountant or a certified auditor, then you should what you do. You should be competent. You should be competent at what you do. Now, when we say being competent, it's quite a big word. Let's break it down. I think I need to adjust it a little bit. All right. I think it's better now. I want to cover the whole thing. Aha. Now, when we say competence, we are talking about if you call yourself a professional, certified, all right, you are certified at providing a particular service, then it is your obligation, all right, to have or to be knowledgeable and skillful at the level required to ensure clients or employer receive competent professional service based on current development in practice, not that you are still applying, all right, archaic, old, obsolete strategies and techniques. No, but you are applying contemporary, current, in vogue, all right? You are applying all these new development techniques and strategy, not archaic ones. At the level of professional requirement, you give your employee, your employer, all right, or your client the best, providing the best. let's just put it like that, providing the best contemporary. Okay, what about now? Can we all hear me? Please let's use the comment section to confirm if we all can hear me. All right, wonderful. Thank you very much for that. That is a response there. Yes, we can hear you. Wonderful. Thank you very much for that. So let's proceed. We are about 8 of us on this stream, and I'm seeing just few likes. You are here to smash like button and ensure to do that right away. And if you are also yet to subscribe to the channel, ensure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. And for those of us who have not, all right, for those of us who haven't gotten, all right, who have not joined the private class, all you need to do is just reach out to tutorial today. Okay, and how do you get to do that? Just visit our official website www.tutorial.net. Oh, wonderful! Thank you for the confirmation. And from there, you can use the WhatsApp button on the top right hand corner to send us a direct message, and we'll take it up from there, guide you on how you get to join the private class. Now let's continue. It says, let's take one more point on this before we move to the next one. Talked about professional competence. One thing we must also talk about, thank you very much for that. That is Miss Ade. Thank you very much for that. Confidentiality. As far as confidentiality is concerned, okay, confidentiality is simply talking about the fact that the accountant has the obligation to respect the confidentiality of information. Now, when we say confidentiality, we are simply referring to the fact that very closely with the finance department. And my colleagues are like, oh, we want to know how much you made yesterday, we want to know how much you made this, how much. And I'll be like, it's a good thing you all are interested, all right, but the nature of my job doesn't allow me to disclose certain information. And basically, they are being particular about knowing because when you check how much you made in that month, it will determine how much service charge we are getting. Because apart from the major salary, we are giving service charge, and service charge is being collected from customers by certain parts. I think it was 5% there. while tax was 7.5%. I don't know how much, but then it was 5%. So anything you are buying, even though you are getting something of a million from us, 5%, tax 7.5. So you can imagine 7.5% of that's about 12.5% of votes. You were talking about 1 million, talking about the 10% of 1 million, that should be about 100,000 naira. So we're talking about 12.5, and we're talking about almost 127,000 naira, 500 for 1 million naira. So you can imagine. And then we have maybe in a day we make sales of 20, 10 million, and we have that consistently in a month. You can tell how much service charge we expect. But just like I'm trying to explain to us, confidentiality is simply talking about you as an accountant. There are certain information you must not release, except when you are instructed to do that. Especially figures. Don't release figures anyhow. They are meant to be kept confidential. So that's what we mean by confidentiality. So enough on that. Let's take something else. Now, let's quickly talk about auditors' independence and objectivity. Auditors' independence and objectivity. So let's say keep secrets. Let's keep official secrets. Official secrets. Okay. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. So we have auditors' independence and objectivity. And objectivity. Independence of the auditor adds what we call credibility to the auditor, to the audit report, on which users of the financial information depend on to make economic decision about a company. Usually auditors are being outsourced. They are not working for that particular company. They render services. Company needs their book of accounting to be audited. They invite external auditors for certain reasons in order to avoid any undue influence. So now, when this external auditor is being invited, he is expected to work without any unnecessary or undue influence from anyone, so that he can work without any bias. Therefore, adding what we refer to as credibility. All right, credibility to the report of that financial position. So independence when it comes to auditing is very, very important. Very, very important. So let's continue. Auditor independence is one of the basic requirements to keep public confidence. Can you imagine that? Auditor independence is one of the basic shareholders are very, very watchful. You can, if you, let's say for example, you have an auditor working for your organization, you can easily influence them. Are you not the one paying them? You don't do that, you don't get the raise, you don't get the promotion. So investors are also very careful. But when you have an auditor does this thing without any influence, look at what it says here. It is one of the basic requirements to keep public confidence in the reliability of the audit report. To keep like confident. Yes, we are confident in what in the what reliability in the how reliable ability of the audit audit report. Very, very important. So we have that as that. According to IFAC Code of Conduct, speaking of confidential, speaking of independence for auditors, having a position to take an viewpoint in performance of audit tests, analysis of results, attestation, and the audit report. During all these processes, there should not be any influence. All right. Independence, in fact, accounting's ability to maintain the unbiased attitude throughout the audit, so being objective and impartial. All right. Throughout the auditing process, there should be no influence in order to ensure what we call impartiality. All right. And the accountant is allowed to be objective. So we have that as that. Okay. I think we've been able to achieve something tonight. So very quickly, I want us to touch on potential threats. Okay, I was hoping we could finish this course this week, but from the looks of things, when I was going through the material, this is almost 300 pages for just one material. That is way too much for soft copy. Only you can imagine for hard copy, you should be having about 600 pages or thereabouts because it's double the size. So it might be like extending into next week, but we just need to move at a reasonable, right, and reasonable fast pace because I want us to cover a lot within this short period of time. So, what are the potential threats? Auditors' independence, potential threats to auditors' independence and objectivity. So let's pick three of them. We have self-interest threat. Self-interest threat. This is a threat that a financial or other interest of the professional accountant or immediate close family member will inappropriately influence the professional self-interest when the sense of judgment, all right, of the auditor is being influenced by his interest in certain things. It could be family, it could be finance, anything whatsoever that has to do with the auditor himself. They also have self-review threats. These self-review threats, when the professional accountant review his own work or advice as part of assurance engagement, when he begins to, all right, his faith, his confidentiality in himself and his competence has begun to drop. Then we have advocacy threats. This arises in those situations where professional accountants will promote the position of a client when you are being influenced by self-review threat, when the position of your client over your job. So you have that as advocacy threat. So we have that as that. We also have the intimidation threat. This threat, all right, is the that talks about, okay, this is the threat that a professional accountant will be prevented from performing his work objectively in view of actual perceived pressure, from which includes acted exert undue influence. When he's being threatened, all right, that his license will be revoked if it does not compromise. Then we have intimidation threat. Intimidation threat. Okay, so basically, is it? Let's also quickly touch on what it means by making referrals, as it says, making referrals. Just like it says, you make these are audit arrangements, all right, with another entity, all right, whereby the other entity agrees to pay a fee to the audit firm for referring clients, all right, for referring clients, whereby the other entity agrees to pay a fee to the audit for referring. Now, we have that as that. This type of arrangements could create a self-interest threat for the audit firm. Okay. However, it is permissible, all right, provided that situation safeguards are in place. Suitable safeguards would include when making referrals, the audit firm should notify the client that it will receive a fee for the referral. There are no shady deals. All right, there are no shady deals at all. So we have that as that. So we'll call it wrap here for today. Then we'll talk about other points in our subsequent class. So thank you very much, everyone. I believe we'll be able to gain something in tonight's class. So let's ensure to keep our notes up to date and send them to the appropriate quarters. Do have a wonderful evening and bye for now.